Yo, what's up? Fast and Shift. All right, today's video is I think I have at first I thought I had a character problem when it came to trying to lose weight. Actually, it's an insulin problem because I was always wondering why over the last like 15, 20 years that I was always weak, hungry, and after I had a high carb meal, I was always like falling asleep. And I was wondering, what is it? Because everybody else, it just felt like I was weak. And so, but everybody else, was a bit different. The ones that was actually eating healthy. But then what I realized was I didn't have really a character problem. I really had an insulin problem. And when people think of insulin, they just think of diabetes. But insulin, it's one of the reasons why we can't lose weight. All right, because there was many times I was doing a lot of running. I was, running every time I eat, I would go run. Every time I eat, I would go run and try to burn it off. But actually, what I realized is I was eating almost 6 times a day. It's probably like the average of most people who are not aware. They're probably eating many times a day. For example, I'll have breakfast in the morning. I would get to work. Maybe I have a biscuit. Then lunchtime, I will go eat with my colleagues. Then it'll be tea time. We all go get tea and maybe a croissant. And then after that, I go home. I have dinner, and then maybe I have a snack. And in most cases, if I stay up late, I might eat again. So that's like 6, 7 times a day. So, and when you're eating that high, that much, your insulin is always high. So you never have the opportunity to actually burn your fats because what happens is you have to have low insulin to be able to get to that fat storage. And if you can't get to that fat storage, all you're doing is burning those carbs and sugar. You go work out, you're burning that last meal, which you probably ate like 2, 3 hours ago. Because what happens is most meals when you eat, your insulin will spike for maybe some uh, like high, fructose corn syrup, all these boxed foods, your insulin can stay up for like 3, 4 hours. And by the time that thing goes down again, you already ate again. And then by the time it go down, you ate again. So you never get into those fat storage. So that's what happened when I learned about fasting is even if you only do 16 hours, it gives your body a rest and insulin goes down. So now if you go do that workout, you now can finally get to that fat storage. And that fat storage is only open if those are down. It's just like if you go to the beach, if you have low tide, that's the best time to probably work out in those time in that context because now the the tide is low, the insulins are low, so you can work out. But if you got high tide, high insulin, you're not going to burn no fats. So you got to think about it. You got to really think about what you put in because I was at this all the time. I never knew. And when you do have a high insulin and you start pumping that insulin, guess where all that extra fat goes? It goes to your belly. For women, it goes around the thighs. So you got to really be cautious of what do you put in it and how often you're eating. So some of my videos, the easiest thing is just stop eating at 8, 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Eat again in the morning, like around maybe 10 or 11. If you could push it to 12 afternoon or 11, then you're giving your body 16 to 17 hours of fasting. Now you're not going up and down, up and down. You're actually more consistent. So take that in consideration, because I was in that trap before. And that's why now I do the fasting because it gives me that opportunity to really uh, balance my insulin and allow me to get to the fat stores. And I'm gonna leave you with one key nugget. If you do the intermittent fasting, 16 hours fasting, 8 hour feeding window, right before you go to break your fast, try to go to the gym. Try to do a quick hit exercise or something. Get on the treadmill or run for like 20 minutes, a sprint or whatever interval training because now your fat stores are your insulin is down, so now you can really supercharge that fat burning. So just think of that. Every time you're about to break your fast, go do a quick workout or a walk or something where while your insulin is down, you can now tap into those fat stores. All right. So remember, it's not a character problem; it's an insulin problem, and that's something we all can fix. All right. We don't need to do all this, all these different medical things. But then again, I'm not a doctor, not a medical assistant. So, this is my own advice. This is my own experience. All right. Fast and shift.